Welcome back, Daisy Cakes. Today we're going to be looking at the 1961 Hugo Awards. Why? Because I am Daisy Ex Machina, the drag queen detective that investigates all things speculative in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. So if you haven't seen the series before, I look at the Hugo Awards from days gone by. I look at the nominees, read the blurbs, and then pick one to add to my TBR. I'm doing this because I want to find new books and new authors that may have passed us by that I think may deserve a little more attention. And there are some hidden gems I know out there in the past. So let's go ahead and look at the 1961 Hugo nominees. I'll list them all, tell you who won, then read the blurbs, and then from those I'll pick one to add to my TBR. The nominees for the 1961 Hugo Awards are Rogue Moon by Algis Budrys, Deathworld by Harry Harrison, A Canticle for Leibowitz by Walter M. Miller Jr., The High Crusade by Poul Anderson, and Venus Plus X by Theodore Sturgeon. And the winner is A Canticle for Leibowitz by Walter M. Miller Jr. Okay, it's no surprise that A Canticle for Leibowitz won. It's a pretty famous science fiction story. You'll either read it or probably ever heard about it at least. And it's a science fiction of Catholicism in the future, which is kind of interesting. But let me go ahead and read the blurb so you know what it's about. I've already read it, so I'm not going to pick it for this TBR game, but you might want to. Winner of the 1961 Hugo Award for Best Novel, and widely considered one of the most accomplished, powerful, and enduring classics of modern speculative fiction, Walter M. Miller Jr.'s A Canticle for Leibowitz is a true landmark of 20th century literature, a chilling and still provocative look at a post-apocalyptic future. In a nightmarish ruined world, slowly awakening to the light after sleeping in darkness, the infant rediscoveries of science are secretly nourished by cloistered monks dedicated to the study and preservation of the relics and writings of the blessed Saint Isaac Leibowitz. From here, the story spans centuries of ignorance, violence, and barbarism, viewing through a sharp satirical eye the relentless progression of a human race damned by its inherent humanness to re-celebrate its grand foibles and repeat its grievous mistakes. Seriously funny, stunning, and tragic, eternally fresh, imaginative, and altogether remarkable, A Canticle for Leibowitz retains its ability to enthrall and amaze. It is now, as it always has been, a masterpiece. Well, if that doesn't get you interested in A Canticle for Leibowitz, I don't know what will. Next, we turn to The High Crusade by Poul Anderson. I haven't read that much Poul Anderson before because he wasn't my favorite author, but I think it might have been because I picked something up that I didn't quite like, so I just didn't follow up with more of his work, even though I do really appreciate his writing, especially his short stories. Look up The Martyr. So let's go ahead and read the blurb for The High Crusade. In the year of grace 1345, as Sir Roger Bacon de Tourneville is gathering an army to join King Edward III in the war against France, a most astonishing event occurs. A huge silver ship descends through the sky and lands in a pasture beside the little village of Ansby in northeastern Lincolnshire. The Wurzguriks, whose scouting ship it is, are quite expert at taking over planets, and having determined from orbit that this one was suitable, they initiate standard world-conquering procedure. But this time it is no mere primitives. The Wurzguriks seek to enslave. They've launched their invasion against free Englishmen. In the end, only one alien is left alive, and Sir Roger's grand vision is born. He intends for the creature to fly the ship first to France to aid his king, then on to the Holy Land to vanquish the infidel. Unfortunately, he has not allowed for the treachery of the alien pilot, who instead takes the craft to his home planet where he thinks these upstart barbarians will have no choice but to surrender. But that knavish alien little understands the indomitable will and clever resourcefulness of Englishmen, no matter how great the odds against them. Okay, so this is a little bit unexpected. It sounds a little bit satirical, because it definitely elevates England to rather grandiose proportions. Could be interesting. I don't know if I'm really interested in digging into this one, but if you've read it, I definitely want to know what you think. Okay, next we move on to Rogue Moon by Algis Budrys. Budrys? I want to say Algis Budrys, but that's an actor. And this is an author I've definitely heard of. I can't recall reading him, so maybe this is the time. Let's go ahead and read the blurb for Rogue Moon. Shortlisted for the 1961 Hugo Award, Rogue Moon is a disquieting and story of what happens when monstrous scientific ambition is matched by human obsession. The moon had finally been reached, and on it was found the most terrifying structure that killed men over and over again in torturous, unfathomable ways. I wonder why it was shortlisted. That's kind of interesting. Maybe? I don't know if I want to read about torturing people over and over again, but it sounds kind of intriguing. It kind of reminds me of 2001: A Space Odyssey with finding the structure. Okay, let's move on. The next one is Deathworld by Harry Harrison. Okay, I have read Deathworld by Harry Harrison, and I absolutely love it, but since I've read it before, I'm not going to read it again. But let me go ahead and read Deathworld, hopefully to get you excited about Harry Harrison if you haven't read him before. He's a science fiction author of some renown. I remember getting this as a 3-volume omnibus. The planet was called Pyrus, a strange place where all the beasts, plants, and natural elements were designed for one specific purpose: to destroy man. The settlers there were supermen, twice as strong as ordinary men with millisecond reflexes. They had to be, for their business was murder. It was up to Jason Din Alt, interplanetary gambler, to discover why Pyrus has become so hostile during man's brief habitation. Okay, so that is Deathworld. If you have not read it, I hope you'll check it out because I think this is a fantastic book. Last on the list is Venus Plus X by Theodore Sturgeon. He's such a huge name in science fiction, but I don't recall reading much of him. I do know that Kurt Vonnegut's Kilgore Trout was a joke on Theodore Sturgeon's name, Sturgeon Trout, although Vonnegut never admitted it outright until years after Theodore Sturgeon had passed. Let's go ahead and read the blurb for Venus Plus X. Charlie Johns has been snatched from his home on 61 North 34th Street and delivered to the strange future world of Ladom. Here, violence is a vague and improbable notion. Technology has triumphed over hunger, overpopulation, pollution, even time and space. But there is a change Charlie finds even more. Gender is a thing of the past. Venus Plus X is Theodore Sturgeon's brilliant evocation of a civilization for whom tensions between male and female and the human preoccupation with sex no longer exists. As Charlie Johns explores Ledom and its people, he finds that the human precepts he holds dear are profane in this new world. But has Charlie learned all there is to know about this advanced society? And why are the Ledom so intent on gaining Charlie's approval? Unsettling, compelling, and no less than visionary. Here's science fiction, a novel whose wisdom and lyricism makes it one of the most original and insightful speculations on gender ever produced. Okay, color me gobsmacked. This is a novel written in 1961 about a utopian society where gender does not exist. Isn't that fascinating? That is so fascinating. You know what? I'm not even going to go further. Here's a list of all the Hugos. Guess what? I am picking Venus plus X by Theodore Sturgeon. This is such a fascinating concept. Feels like it was a story ahead of its time. It feels very relevant for today. So I'm kind of excited to read it, but I want to know about you. Which of these books have you read or do you want to read? Let me know down in the comments. And while you're there, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Until we meet again, may all the books you read be